the bond and our building, our beautiful building that we're seeing go up somewhat quickly, we'll say that. I'd like to introduce Trustee Mishke. Thank you very much for being here, sir.
Okay, well, thank you. I think this will be a relatively short meeting, but we have the team here ready to answer questions. As you know, we have a delay in the project. I was saying before that I was kind of the negative Nelly about the timeline simply because I knew how difficult the permitting process was, but looks like we're going to be 3 or 4 months behind schedule, as you all already know. And the only thing that made me feel good about that was when I was looking at the news reports earlier this week about other districts, including Fort Worth, where we've got the 3 or 4 month delay, and they're looking at closing 16 schools. They're half our size. So I know the delay is disappointing, but we still have this school, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to manage another couple of months. Certainly that happened at Riley last year, and as when you can see the progress going on, it's a little easier to take. So with that, Brent, let me turn it over to you.
All right, thank you guys very much. I'm Brent Alfred. I'm the Chief Construction Officer with Dallas ISD. Met some of you guys along this journey, so I'll keep it brief. You guys kind of know our setup. I have Adam. He's with our communication. He's recording. He's going to put all this online. You'll see our presentation. We have a QR code at the end. If you have additional questions after this, you can always send them to us or email the principal. She'll get us those questions so we can respond to you guys. So, like I say, I've brought the whole team out here. I've got our architects from LPA to answer questions. I got our PM Siri is actually going to lead the presentation. She's with Jacob. She's our project manager. And of course, that guy in the back with the blue jean, that's the guy we're cheering on. He's our contractor, Ratcliffe. So I think this might be the first time you guys are meeting that company, but I know you've seen the sign around. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Siri. She's going to kind of go into depth about what impacts we had, some of the challenges, and what you can expect when you come back in the fall, and then we'll do Q&A. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I am going to run through the schedules, give some updates, and also address some of the concerns that were raised. Start with introductions. Again, Greg did introduce. Hi, Siri. Here is Jacob, the program manager. We have the architect, and we have the landscape architect here. Going down. Sorry. So to give you a recap of the timeline, the NTP, or the Notice to Proceed, was issued in April of 24. We had a campus fest somewhere like May of 17, and we had the permit released May 27, and the GC, the general contractor, mobilized on 6/3. So we had a memorial tree that was brought up to our attention, and we had to rework the logistics around the site to make it work, and that took about 12 days, and we then started going into full construction. The projected subcom right now for the project, or TCO for the new building, is going to be October 31st, 2025. The move-in is going to be in January after the winter break. So from 31st of October, it is going to give us enough time to go ahead and get the furniture in, all the IT, all the equipment that's needed for the kids to be occupying the campus when they come in after the winter break. And the substantial completion, or the project completion, is going to be August of 26. So before I run through the logistics of this one, I do want to bring it to everybody's attention that since we have just 2.5 more days of school, the concern of the construction parking is going to be mitigated as we are going to be using the existing campus parking lots for construction parking. Then I'll head to the August of 2025. So once we come back for the school, the existing parking lot and the drop-off pickup for the students is going to remain as is. The blue line indicates the construction fence, and the green indicates the new building. So if you notice, there's nothing that's going to change as of the traffic flow. But one thing that's going to change is that we are not going to have any construction parking on Waterview Street. So there will not not be any construction parking, so that will help with the congestion currently we have. So any questions on this slide before I move on? January 2026, that is when the campus is going to be occupied by the staff and the students. So you do see that the logistics for the drop-off and pickup has been changed. So they are going to get into the Waterview Road and exit out from the North Cliff. So that helps with the rest of the Brookhurst and the Waterview for the congestion. Any questions on this one? March of 2026 is when we are going to have the existing parking lot taken over from the existing campus to have the GC go ahead and start doing the abatement and demo of the existing building. So the traffic flow where the students drop off and pick up is still going to remain the same. They are going to come in through the Waterview and exit on the North Cliff. And June 2026 is when the building will be demolished completely and we will have the landscape and the cool schools coming to finalize the next slide will show you. So that's going to be the final site plan of the project. So the queuing is going to now happen inside the building, or sorry, inside the campus. And that is the landscape plan. Any questions? Let me go through the traffic management. Once the new school is up and running, you will see that the queuing for the drop-off and the pickup is going to happen on Waterview and inside the campus parking lot, and they are going to exit out for the 3rd to 5th grades. They will exit out on the Waterview, and the K through 2nd are going to come from the Brookhurst and exit out on North Cliff. And that shows the school zone flashing traffic lights. We do have a couple of them on the North Cliff and the PD Road.
Nothing on Waterview?
Nothing on Waterview.
Okay, so who do we need to talk to at the Department of Transportation about the plans? It looks, my fear is, and I live in the community, I have kids that go here, right? But we've observed in the past several months that sometimes when parents maybe are running a bit behind, traffic's going through the neighborhood here rather quickly. And so I'd love to have a conversation about, is that traffic plan, not the traffic management plan in and out of the school, but adjacent into the community? What are we doing to kind of ensure that kids are able to walk to school safely, that parents are with accompanying their kids are able to walk to school safely? And also just kind of assure with the parents that bringing your kids to and from school would be really great if you were able to observe the speed limits within the community. So what do we need to do? Brent, do I need to kind of get a hold of the Department of Transportation? Because they were here at one of the original meetings.
Yeah, I thought David Neverez, he was, you're here. Okay.
I'm here for David Everett.
Okay.
Okay, so,
You got that right.
yeah, we need to talk about this, because we've got members of our neighborhood association board kind of bringing this up quite frequently. We have people in the community bringing it up quite frequently in terms of safety for the kids, which is the priority, but also for parents and folks walking to and leaving school. Sure. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, it should have been great to work with on this project. Like I said, they're participating in this meeting, so we'll work together to get that clarified.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
I think there were some questions about the cement mixer or the mortar mixer outside. Do you want to tell them how we're addressing that?
Yes, we do have, it is going to have a shroud and it is going to be covered, but it is going to have a shroud that will help mitigate that. It's not, it is still under the permissible exposure limit for what we are using on site, but they are going to use a shroud that will help cover if there is any air or anything that's going to make the motor flow.
So do we do regular kind of monitoring of kind of the air quality around the school during the construction project to make sure that those mitigations are?
It is not, as per the studies, it is not above the limit from OSHA, it is under the limit for that equipment.
Okay.
But I think in closing, having that shroud will help even mitigate whatever little that's going to fly off with the wind. And we are going to have a shroud at the bottom when the motor is being dropped off into the buckets too.
Okay, but we're not gonna monitor to make sure that it is within limits. That's what I'm hearing.
Not,
Ratcliffe, are you doing anything to monitor that, or we're just?
We currently don't, it's not required, but we have agreed to add some additional monitoring for comfort levels.
Okay.
So, yes, we intend to address that and make sure everybody is safe and their concerns are met.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And then I know that, there's a lot of concerns about, parking, of course, and parking management. School is out in 2.5 days, so that's gonna take care of a lot over the summer. You're gonna be able to get back on site, and then, we're talking to Ratcliffe again about managing that once, teachers do come back in August, to relieve some of that pressure. Questions? But if there, I think that the QR code, that I talked about at the beginning, I know sometimes you leave here and, you have a question, you can scan it, or that's, any of that information, you take a picture of it, you can email us, that email goes straight to Adam, he'll get it to the team, and we can, communicate it back to the principal, and she'll put it out in her newsletter. So we want to stay, communicate with you guys, make sure we're hearing your concerns. So if you think of something, please email us or reach the principal. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you close it out. I'm gonna let the trustee say any words. Then our principal.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate your patience. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Brent, the principal, or QR code up here.
I have a real quick question.
yes,
So,
sir.
for those that don't know me, my name is Ryan Lott. I'm the executive director for the 12 schools in this area, including Hexter. I have a question for you, Principal Smith.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to put you on the spot, ready?
Yeah.
So she and I talked for, it must have been 30 minutes with how excited you were after you walked the campus.
Yeah.
And you got me really fired up, and I drive by this sucker every single day. Every day it seems like something else special gets put on there. Do you want to kind of tell your reflections after walking the campus?
So when you set foot on the campus, you realize it's real, right? Okay, this is something I can see come into fruition. But more than that, I see the possibilities of being on a campus where we have plenty of room, we have all the resources, we have the technology, we don't have the plumbing, the air conditioning, all the HVAC issues that we've dealt with, no raccoons. It really makes me smile because, yes, it's been an interesting couple of years, and although we've had to wait, I do want to say thank you to the bond office being very responsive. We asked for a community meeting. They got one up and running before the end of the school year. I want to thank Jacobs and Christy. She's phenomenal. She's a great project manager. And of course, Ratcliffe, really thank you for all you do. It's been a very well communicated process. So while we may be disappointed maybe that we have some delays, overall, I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome. We're hearing positive things having to do with the size of the building, the brick that's being chosen, and I know all of those were very strategic decisions that were based on the feedback we received from the community at the outset. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming, and if you have any questions, please do use that QR code. I will send those questions on because I'm sure I cannot answer most of them.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
It
thank you
will.
guys.
Now,